Hey guys, welcome back to Watch What's Happening Live.
What? Welcome back to another episode of Cocktails with Curt. Clearly, this one back here has had too many of these cocktails. He doesn't know where he is, but...
Andy, are you watching? So guys, we're back here with Mark Scarratt with Fidelity Mortgage. Thanks for joining us again, Mark. Next topic, we are going to talk about 3 popular loans that are out there in the marketplace. FHA, conventional, and VA loans. So let's just jump right into it. Mark, tell the people a little bit about what is FHA, what it stands for, a little of the parameters, down payment, who's a good candidate for FHA?
Well, FHA is a great program. A lot of first-time homebuyers use it, although you don't have to be a first-time homebuyer. FHA is going to allow a smaller down payment, more challenged credit. They're going to allow lower scores than the conventional loan. And actually, the FHA rate's a little lower than conventional. The mortgage insured's a bit higher, but it's a great program for somebody buying their first, second, or third home. You're going to qualify for a little bit more with FHA than conventional, but it's, like I said, it's a common loan for people buying their first house.
Well, let me ask you this, Mark. You mentioned something about, it's for people that have challenged credit, and so, the restrictions are a little more lenient. So why would someone just not always go FHA? Why would they choose to look into a conventional loan?
Well, when you get to a certain score, generally 680 or above, conventional loans are going to have lower PMI than FHA. And with a conventional loan, at some point, if your home appreciates to 80% or below, you can request that the PMI be dropped. With an FHA loan, it's on there for the life of the loan.
What is PMI, Mark?
That's private mortgage insurance, and what that is a long time ago when mortgages started, you always had to put 20% down. Okay. Well, the PMI system came up to where these large insurance companies would insure the lender down to 20%. So if you wanted to make a 5 or 10% down payment, you're paying for a certain insurance to get it to 20%. It also indirectly it benefits everyone because with this system the rates are much lower than they would be without it.
So conventional too, you can drop the PMI, but FHA you can't, right?
Correct.
Okay. So that's big for people because talk a little bit about how PMI works, and I've heard you talk when we've gotten other clients pre-approved through you. You've sometimes told them, to get your score up a little bit higher because it does affect the amount of PMI you pay, right?
Correct.
Contingent upon your credit score?
Lenders have tools we didn't used to have where we can look at your credit and run reports and see how to get your score up, and oftentimes it's, you may pay a credit card down a couple $100. But what I look at is if we could get your score to a higher point, would it give you a lower rate and lower PMI? The conventional loans are probably the optimal loan you would want, although FHA is great.
Right.
But it's credit score driven. If you have a higher 680 or above, you're probably going to go conventional. Below that, you might want to go FHA.
So get those scores to 680 or higher. That's
we'll figure out how to get it.
Yeah, let's get it. That's the key.
But don't go to the credit repair companies because they're not going to get your score higher.
This guy, because Mark does have a lot of great tools, credit analyzing tools to get you, where you need to be.
Well, for the most part, we can do the things they do, and you're not being charged for it.
Yeah, definitely. Any other questions you got?
Well, I think from a VA loan perspective, that's one that's actually been growing over the last couple of months. I know we sent a couple over to you, and they're all VA. So I think if you could explain, what that is and what some of the high-level parameters are for that would be great.
Well, the other 2 forms of financing, FHA and conventional, are basically available to anyone. VA is a great loan, but it's only available for veterans. If you have served active duty military, I think at any point you should be eligible for a VA loan. Okay. Also, National Guard people are available. So if you haven't served in the military, it's not available for you.
But if you're a spouse of someone in the military or a widow, I guess, of someone,
correct.
you would be qualified for their VA benefits, correct?
That's correct, but you do have to be careful. VA will only allow a co-borrower on the loan that is a spouse or another veteran. Okay. So with VA, you couldn't add a fiance or something to the loan. You would have to be married.
Okay.
And what's the advantage of going VA, like as far as mortgage insurance, money down? Can you talk a little bit about why it's so beneficial to a lot of veterans out there and their spouses and families?
It's an awesome loan because, for one thing, you can go 100%. But VA, their form of PMI or mortgage insurance, is a funding fee, which is financed back into the loan. But one thing is, any veteran who is receiving a VA disability, this is waived. So you can end up with a loan with 100% with absolutely no mortgage insurance.
Wow.
And the VA rates and FHA rates are very low. They're generally the same. But you'll never find a loan where you can go 100%, not pay a premium on the rate, or pay mortgage insurance that's as good as what a VA is.
I think that's a good segue because I know, Fidelity offers a lot of great programs. I mean, there's so many things now between 100% financing, 5% down, 10% down, no PMI. And I think what gets lost in all of that is when folks think of they don't have to put any money down or 0% financing. Can you explain, I guess, how they really are paying for that, just not upfront, meaning with the rate or, just, I guess, for me even, it's kind of a gray area in the sense that when I think of 0% financing, that's ideal, but I think from a mortgage perspective, you kind of are paying for that in a roundabout way. You're just not coming to the table with the money.
Higher interest rates, right?
Other than VA, you're going to find that just about all 100% loans are geared towards people buying their first home. That's the main thing. When people call me and ask, do you have any first-time home buyer programs? Those programs are not geared as much on some big drop in rate, but they're to allow you not to have to put a down payment down.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Now, it's correct. Those loans, they're going to have some form of PMI. If it doesn't have PMI, then the rate's going to be higher.
Okay.
So you can look at it, what makes the most sense.
And then, so when you say the rate would be higher in that scenario, just, ballpark, is it, a point higher? Is it super, is it really a big difference? If someone has a 4% rate, let's just, for sake of argument, but now they want to go through this program where there's no money down, what would that 4% rate look like with 100% financing?
I mean, other than VA, there's a pretty good big premium because you're not paying PMI. But if you gave a 4%, if you did a 100% loan with no PMI, it'd be more like 5 1/8 or 5 1/4, which can still make sense. Yeah. But I can tell you, if you can find a way to come up with 3%, there's some enormous advantages to that.
Yeah. So you guys, pay attention to that. Like I said, I know we always promote a lot of programs, a lot of, useful tools and things like that, but you always want to make sure that you have the full understanding of what you're getting into, and you're not just buying into, I guess, what you want to hear, and that's, I don't have to put any money down. Right. Make sure you understand what that really means to you, from a financial perspective on the back end.
Absolutely. I think those are all good points. All right, guys, so that's FHA, conventional, and VA. So we'll talk about some other topics. But thanks, Mark, for really breaking that down for us. Really appreciate it.
And don't forget, Mark is with Fidelity Bank and Mortgage, so we will definitely put his contact information. We're local. And and one of the things I want to just point out really quickly is that the benefit of having Mark be, really a part of our team is that when you're going through this process, we never leave you alone. So we know exactly what's going on throughout the start of your loan process to when we're actually closing on the deal, and Mark is usually there.
We can say, what the hell's going on, Mark?
Right. So I just want to point out that a lot of, you don't always find that. So I think that's a perk. So absolutely.
It's always about. It's not always. It's always about the numbers, right? But what we're always preaching to you guys is, a 0.1%, a 1/4%. You can't. There's no value more valuable than customer
service. Absolutely. So
this is what Mark provides you.
Awesome. So stay tuned. We'll be back for the next episode.
Cheers everybody.